There lived a young princess named Tamar in the land of Konda, where the sun shone brightly, and baobab trees swayed gently in the breeze. Tamar was beautiful, with shiny black hair and a crown that sparkled like the stars. But Tamar had one big problem: she thought she was better than everyone else. She never shared her toys as a child, and as she grew older, she became even prouder. One morning, Tamar was strolling in the royal garden, admiring her reflection in a small mirror she always carried. Suddenly, an old woman appeared from behind a tree. Her clothes were tattered, and her walking stick looked as old as the hills. "Good morning, Princess Tamar," the woman said, her voice kind and soft. Tamar frowned. "What do you want, old woman?" The woman held out her hand, revealing a bracelet made of gold and beads that glowed in the sunlight. "I bring you a gift, princess. This is no ordinary bracelet. It will show your true heart. If you are kind, it will bring you joy and strength. But if you are selfish, it will bring you trouble." Tamar snatched the bracelet without saying thank you. She placed it on her wrist, admiring how it sparkled. But she didn't believe the old woman's story. "What silly magic! A bracelet cannot judge me," Tamar said, waving her hand dismissively. The old woman smiled. "Time will tell, princess. Time will tell." Then, like smoke in the wind, she disappeared. The next day, Tamar decided to show off her new bracelet to her servants and villagers. She marched through the market, her head held high. A little girl ran up to her, holding a small basket of mangoes. "Princess Tamar," the girl said shyly, "my family is hungry. Can you help us?" Tamar wrinkled her nose. "Go away, child. I don't have time for beggars." As she turned to leave, the bracelet on her wrist tightened. Tamar gasped, clutching her arm as the bracelet began to glow red. "What is happening?" she cried. The villagers whispered among themselves. "The bracelet is angry," said an old man. "It can feel her pride." But Tamar ignored them, storming back to the palace. "This stupid bracelet," she shouted, pulling at it, but it wouldn't come off no matter how hard she tried. Days passed, and strange things kept happening. Tamar demanded the palace cook prepare her favorite soup, but when she tasted it, it turned bitter. She ordered new dresses, but every thread itched her skin. The bracelet grew heavier each time she acted selfishly. One night, Tamar had a dream. The old woman appeared, her eyes glowing like fireflies. "Tamar," the woman said, "your heart is full of pride. Until you learn kindness, the bracelet will not let you rest." Tamar woke up sweating. She looked at the bracelet, now dull and heavy, and felt a pang of fear. The drought came shortly after. The fields dried up, and the rivers turned to thin streams. The villagers came to the palace gates, pleading for help. "Princess Tamar," an old man called, "our children are starving. Please share the palace's grain with us." Tamar frowned. "The grain is for royalty, not for villagers. Go find your own food." As soon as she spoke, the bracelet grew tighter, and Tamar screamed in pain. She ran to her room, slamming the door. "Why does this keep happening?" she cried. That night, Tamar had another dream. This time, she saw herself walking through the village. Children were crying, and their parents looked weak. She saw her fields overflowing with grain while the villagers had nothing. A voice echoed in her mind, "A leader's true power lies in her kindness." Tamar woke up with tears in her eyes. She felt a strange feeling in her chest, a mix of guilt and determination. The next morning, Tamar went to the granary. She ordered the guards to open the gates and invited the villagers in. "Take what you need," she said softly. The villagers hesitated, surprised by her change. "Is this a trick?" one asked. "No trick," Tamar said, her voice trembling. "I was wrong. I should have helped you sooner." As the villagers filled their baskets, the bracelet on Tamar's wrist began to glow softly. For the first time, it felt warm instead of heavy. Tamar spent the next few days working with the villagers. She carried water, planted seeds, and even sang songs with the children. At first, the work was hard, but she began to enjoy it. One evening, after a long day of helping in the fields, Tamar sat under a baobab tree, watching the sunset. The bracelet glowed brighter than ever before, and suddenly, the old woman appeared again. "Tamar," she said, her voice proud, "you have learned the lesson of the bracelet. Kindness is the greatest treasure of all." Tamar bowed her head. "I understand now. A princess must care for her people, not just herself." The old woman smiled and waved her hand. The bracelet transformed into a band of pure gold with a single shining gem. "This is now a symbol of your kind heart, Tamar. Wear it proudly." The old woman disappeared once more, leaving Tamar alone with her thoughts. From that day on, Tamar became a beloved ruler. The villagers trusted her, and the land of Konda grew prosperous again. The story of Princess Tamar and the enchanted bracelet was told for generations, reminding everyone that true strength comes from a kind heart. The end.